But here's the thing. I had been attending classes at a nearby community college. Nothing extravagant, just the basics, trying to get ahead while still in high school. The counselor there indicated I may possibly acquire financial aid if I took more classes. That meant I needed to make a decision: keep paying Aunt Lisa's outrageous rent or try to obtain an education. So, I chose education. I had no clear plan. All I knew was that I couldn't stay there any longer. I packed whatever could fit into my Toyota. The automobile had strange rust patches all over it, and the heat only worked if you kicked the dashboard in just the right place, but it was mine. The first night sleeping in the car was actually rather peaceful. We parked behind the laundromat. I used my work keys to sneak in and use the restroom. I had this whole setup. I reclined the driver's seat all the way back, used my work backpack as a pillow, and stacked like 5 blankets borrowed from the lost and found box. I thought to myself, this isn't too bad. Then winter struck. Real Chicago winter. The kind where your spit freezes before it reaches the ground. My car's battery began to die as a result of the cold, so I couldn't even run the heat. But what's the hardest part? It wasn't only the cold or the lack of sleep. It was attempting to appear normal at school. Try explaining to your chemistry teacher why your homework is wrinkled and smelling like laundry detergent. Or why do you keep wearing the same 3 outfits? The school counselor kept attempting to speak with me, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I live in my car, but don't worry, it's parked in a really nice alley. Then, my loving cousin Michael decided to play detective. I guess Dad became suspicious about why I wasn't around the house anymore. They followed me one night after my laundry shift. What about the next day? His TikTok had an entire video series called My Homeless Cousin, a documentary. They recorded everything. My windows are frost-covered. I tried to study utilizing the light from the laundromat sign. I was caught changing clothes in the backseat once. The videos quickly became popular among their wealthy peers. People began blaring their horns and hurling things at my car as they drove past the laundromat at night. The cops also began to show up more frequently. Every few nights, there was a knock at my window. Can't sleep here, miss? So I would drive around until they departed, then return. I spent several evenings traveling in circles, watching my gas gauge drop and hoping I'd have enough to get to work the next day. But you know what's weird? I began noticing a black SUV parked across the street some nights. Always at a different location. But it's always there. Tinted windows. The engine is going. First thought? Cops are a creep? However, they never disturbed me. Just sitting there. As if they were watching. The temperature dipped to -5 degrees Fahrenheit one night. The kind of cold that irritates your eyes. My automobile would not start. The phone was dead. What about the laundromat? Closed for repair. I thought, well, this is it. This is how I die. They'll discover me frozen, just like the rodents in the alleyway. I wrapped myself in every article of clothing I owned and tried to think positive things. That's when I heard a knock on my window. I looked up. And there's Uncle Marcus, standing in the snow, as if it's perfectly natural to be out at 2 a.m. in Arctic temperatures. He just says, I think we need to talk.